The medical bay of the stellar convergence hummed with the soft blue glow of diagnostic equipment. Hermione lay on the examination table, her auburn hair splayed across the sterile surface as three-fingered appendages waved scanners over her body. The Vexian medic, whose name translated roughly to gentle healer of wounds, made a series of clicking sounds that the universal translator struggled to interpret. "The human appears stable," the medic announced, its chitinous face plates shifting in what might have been concern. "However, I am detecting alarming levels of toxins in the bloodstream." Ferry, standing by the observation window with his arms crossed, straightened immediately. His jaw clenched as he moved closer to the examination table. "What kind of toxins? She was fine an hour ago." The Vexian's optical stalk swiveled toward a holographic display that materialized in the air, showing a complex molecular structure rotating slowly. "This compound is ethanol, a known cellular poison. It damages neural tissue, impairs cognitive function, and causes systemic inflammation. The concentration in her blood is," the medic paused, recalculating, 0.08%. "This is lethal to most species in the Galactic Coalition." Hermione's eyes fluttered open. She groaned softly and pressed a hand to her forehead. "Oh, that's just great. Hangover and an alien lecture." "Hangover?" The medic's translator crackled with confusion. "You are not suspended from anything. Please remain still while I prepare the antitoxin protocol. We must begin filtration immediately." Ferry held up a hand, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth despite his concern. "Wait, Doc. Before you start pumping her full of whatever passes for activated charcoal on your world, maybe we should clarify something." The Vexian turned all four of its eyes toward him. "Clarify? The scans are irrefutable. The human female is poisoned. Without intervention, she will suffer permanent neurological damage." "She's not poisoned," Ferry said, running a hand through his dark hair. "Well, technically she is, but it's self-inflicted and temporary." Hermione sat up slowly, wincing at the movement. "Ferry's right. I'm fine. Just stupid. Very, very stupid." She looked at the medic, whose confusion was palpable even across species barriers. "Last night, I may have gotten into the emergency supplies." "Emergency supplies?" The medic's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Those are strictly regulated. If you ingested contaminated, not those emergency supplies," Ferry interrupted. "The human emergency supplies. Specifically, the recreational ones we're technically not supposed to have aboard." The Vexian's posture shifted to something that resembled indignation. "You brought toxic substances onto this vessel? This is a violation of at least 17 safety protocols." Hermione swung her legs off the table, steadying herself against the edge. "Look, I know how it sounds, but where we're from, this particular poison is, well, it's cultural. We call it liquor, or alcohol, or in last night's case, terrible decisions in a bottle." The medic's optical stalks retracted slightly, a defensive posture. "You intentionally consume poison? For what purpose? Suicide among your species must be rampant." Ferry laughed, the sound echoing in the sterile chamber. "Not suicide. Recreation. Humans have been drinking ethanol for thousands of years. It makes us feel relaxed, lowers our inhibitions, helps us socialize. Though Hermione here seems to have overdone it a bit." "A bit?" Hermione groaned. "I drank half a bottle of Ferry's contraband whiskey. I regret everything." The Vexian medic was silent for a long moment, its breathing spiracles opening and closing rapidly. "Let me understand this correctly. Humans voluntarily consume a substance that is toxic to your cellular structure, impairs your judgment, damages your organs, and causes severe physical discomfort the following day. For enjoyment? When you put it that way, it does sound insane," Hermione admitted, pressing her fingers to her temples. "But yeah, basically, it's a social thing. Has been since before we figured out how to write." The medic turned to its console, appendages flying over the controls. Data streams cascaded across multiple screens. "I am accessing the human medical database now. This is extraordinary. Your species has entire industries dedicated to producing variations of this poison. You have cultural ceremonies around its consumption. You even have regulatory bodies to control its distribution. Told you it was cultural, Fairy said. But the damage, the medic protested. According to these records, chronic consumption leads to liver cirrhosis, cardiovascular disease, neurological disorders. We know, Hermione said quietly. Most of us do it in moderation. Some don't. I usually do, but last night was exceptional circumstances. The Vexian's posture shifted again, this time to something that might have been awe or horror. It was difficult to tell. I have been studying xenobiology for 30 standard cycles, and I thought I understood the human capacity for survival. Your species can endure radiation levels that would kill a Thorian. You can survive in atmospheric compositions that would suffocate most oxygen breathers. You heal from injuries that would be fatal to others. But this... It gestured at the molecular display still rotating in the air. This is different. You intentionally introduce poison into your systems for pleasure, knowing the consequences. Fairy moved to stand beside Hermione, placing a supportive hand on her shoulder. Humans are weird, Doc. We're adrenaline junkies, risk-takers, and apparently casual toxin consumers. It's part of what makes us human. The medic was quiet for another moment. Then its mandibles clicked in what the translator interpreted as resigned acceptance. Very well. I will not administer antitoxins. However, I am prescribing a rehydration solution and electrolyte supplementation, and I am documenting this incident in your medical file with a recommendation that the ship's command consider stricter controls on human recreational substances. Hermione slid off the table, steadying herself against Fairy. Fair enough. And Doc? Thanks for caring enough to be horrified. Most species would have just let the weird humans poison themselves. As they walked toward the exit, the medic called after them. One more question, if I may. They turned back. This whiskey that you consumed, is it particularly potent among human poisons? Hermione and Fairy exchanged glances. Fairy grinned. Doc, that was the cheap stuff. Wait until you hear about what we call absinthe. The medic's optical stalks drooped in what could only be despair.